From Washington, D.C., this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Hena Zuberi. Our top story tonight, a Council on American Islamic Relations report on nationwide incidents of civil rights complaints by American Muslims in 2022 has revealed a 23% decrease. However, complaints about school incidents increased by 63% that year. Corey Saylor is head of research and advocacy at CARE. He says it's the first recorded decline in civil rights complaints by American Muslims since the group started tracking such data in 1995. He told Anadolu Agency, "The drop gives us hope." But he noted that it comes in an environment where discrimination against other communities is increasing. Saylor said, Americans still do not embrace Muslims as part of society. He added that bullying or Islamophobic material in classroom teaching is of paramount concern. A set of bills introduced in the Michigan House would add Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, and Asian holidays to the official state calendar. The new holidays would be Diwali, Baisakhi, Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, and the Lunar New Year. State Representative Abraham Iash of Hamtramck, a Muslim, is amongst the sponsors. Iash said official recognition of these holidays would also make it easier for workers and school districts to arrange time off. The legislation would not mandate days off. However, school boards, public universities, community colleges, and public employees could take those religious celebrations into account when setting calendars and in contract bargaining. Michigan now has 12 officially recognized holidays, including Christmas Eve and Christmas. Election Day also is recognized as a holiday in even-numbered years. An international committee of the Red Cross officials says inmates at Guantanamo detention center are experiencing symptoms of accelerated aging. Patrick Hamilton, head of ICRC's US and Canada delegation, visited the prison in Cuba in March. He said the inmates' symptoms are consistent with those he observed in Guantanamo in 2003. The U.S. started holding terrorism suspects designated enemy combatants there in 2002. Since the prison's establishment, it has attracted widespread criticism for its conditions, lack of process for detainees, and the use of torture. Hamilton said the accelerated aging symptoms he witnessed were worsened by the cumulative effects of detainees' experiences and years spent in detention. He called for authorities to adopt a healthcare approach that would account for both deteriorating mental and physical conditions. President Joe Biden's administration has transferred 5 detainees out of Guantanamo so far in 2023. That's largely due to former Barack Obama's Executive Order 13567. That established a periodic review board to examine whether detainees remain a threat to the United States. 30 detainees are currently at Guantanamo, with 16 eligible for transfer. An Iranian court has ruled that the United States government, along with key individuals and entities, must pay compensation for attacks carried out by Daesh or ISIS in 2017. The Tehran court issued the verdict on Wednesday. It was based on complaints by family members of 3 people killed and 6 wounded during the attacks, the judiciary's official news website reports. The Iranian parliament building and the mausoleum of the founder of Iran's current government, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, was targeted during the assault. 17 people were killed. The court ruled that close to $300 million be paid for financial as well as moral and punitive damages. The accused included U.S. government, former President Barack Obama and George W. Bush, U.S. Central Command and its former commander, Tommy Franks, the CIA, the Treasury Department, weapons manufacturer Lockheed Martin, and American Airlines Group. The court maintains they all played a pivotal role in creating and guiding groups like Daesh or ISIS. None of the named entities or individuals are believed to hold any assets under Iranian control that could be seized. Afghanistan's Taliban government forces have killed the ISIS mastermind of a 2021 suicide bomb attack at Kabul airport, White House said on Tuesday. The bomber detonated a device amongst packed crowds at the airport's perimeter as they tried to flee Afghanistan on August 26, 2021. That was during the chaotic withdrawal of U.S. forces from Afghanistan in 2021. The blast killed 170 Afghans and 13 U.S. service members who were escorting and securing the airport for withdrawal. It was one of the deadliest bombings in Afghanistan. It prompted criticism of U.S. President Joe Biden for his decision to pull American forces out of the country nearly 20 years after the U.S. invasion. A young Palestinian has died from injuries he suffered after Israeli soldiers shot him during a military raid Monday in the occupied West Bank. Israeli forces also detained 3 Palestinians injured by Israeli fire in the Akbet Jabr refugee camp. In a statement, Jericho and Jordan Valley Governor Jihad Yusuf Abu al-Asl identified the victim as Sleman Ayesh, saying his body is being held by Israel. Eyewitnesses said that the raid triggered clashes with Palestinians during which Israeli forces used live fire, rubber-coated bullets, and tear gas canisters. Palestinians responded by burning tires and throwing stones and glass bottles at vehicles of Israeli forces. The Israeli army has yet to issue a statement regarding the raid. The Palestinian Prisoners Society said Israeli forces detained at least 20 people in the occupied West Bank from Sunday evening until Monday morning. Details regarding Sudan's crisis after the break. Stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome back. At least 460 people have been killed in ongoing clashes between Sudan's army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, according to the country's health ministry. It said on Tuesday that over 4,000 people have been injured in the violence. The World Health Organization earlier put the death toll from Sudan's violent clashes at 416 people and more than 3,500 injured. A disagreement had been brewing in recent months between the army and the paramilitary force over military and security reform. Sudan has been without a functioning government since October 2021. That's when the military dismissed Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok's transitional government and declared a state of emergency. Sudan's transitional period, which started in August 2019, was scheduled to end with elections in early 2024. The first Muslim mayor of South Africa's largest city, Johannesburg, has resigned after holding the post for less than 100 days. Thapelo Ahmad is the councillor of the Muslim political party Al-Jama'. He was elected in late January, replacing Ampo Falazzi of the opposition Democratic Alliance Party. Falazzi was removed in a vote of no confidence on January 26th. Ahmad was also facing a vote of no confidence Tuesday, but resigned hours before city councillors could vote on it. His resignation was announced by Panyaza Lasufi, Gauteng provincial chairperson of the African National Congress Party. The ANC and several other parties entered a coalition with Al-Jamaat to form a government of unity. Ahmad told local broadcaster SABC that he had done his part as the executive mayor of Johannesburg. He says he has fulfilled his mission and now needs to allow space for fresh minds and new leadership. Hundreds of Syrians are protesting a thawing of ties between several Arab countries and President Bashar al-Assad's regime. One such protest was held in the northwestern city of Idlib, which is under anti-government rebel control, on Sunday. Fahad Abdul Karim told AFP protesters reject normalizations with, quote, the murderous criminal terrorist regime. Several hundred Syrians, some displaced from other parts of the country by the 12-year war, took part in the protest, AFP reports. Assad has been politically isolated in the region since the war began in 2011. But a devastating February earthquake that killed thousands in Turkey and Syria sparked outreach from Arab countries. A flurry of diplomacy has been underway over the last few weeks as longtime rivals Saudi Arabia and Iran, an ally of the Syrian government, patched up ties. On Tuesday, Saudi Arabia's Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan met with Assad in Damascus. It's the first trip by a Saudi official since the conflict began and comes less than a week after Syria's top diplomat Faisal Mekdad visited the region. Diplomats from 9 Arab countries also met with Saudi Arabia this month to discuss ending Syria's diplomatic isolation. A nationwide survey in Germany has found that many migrants experienced some form of discrimination last year due to their ethnic background or religion. The survey by Bertelsmann Foundation found incidents of racial discrimination increased last year, despite growing awareness of the problem amongst the public. Some 35% of migrants said that they experienced racist behavior and discrimination in their daily lives due to their foreign-sounding names, way of speaking, or ethnic background. About 28% of migrants said that they faced discrimination and were treated unfairly due to their religion or belief. The report found that Germany's Muslim community was particularly affected by discrimination. Some 72% of Muslims surveyed said that they experience racial discrimination very often or from time to time in their daily lives. About 70% of Germans surveyed said they believe a lot more should be done by authorities to ensure equal treatment of immigrants. In 2008, only 43% of Germans expressed support for such measures. 26 young Uyghurs participated in a 4-day trip to Berlin to learn about their history and culture through artifacts from their homeland. The educational program called Returning to the Past was the first gathering of its kind for Uyghur teenagers in Europe to learn about their heritage. The trip was organized by the Research Center of the World Uyghur Congress, an advocacy group headquartered in Munich. The students were visiting the Humboldt Forum, a Berlin museum dedicated to human history, art, and culture. The artifacts were taken by a German expedition that made 4 trips to northwest China in the early 20th century and are now kept in Berlin's museums. Muslims are mourning the burning of a 113-year-old Islamic school library in India that once housed more than 4,000 books. The library included ancient manuscripts and sacred Islamic texts written in beautiful calligraphy. It was part of the Madressah Azizia, a well-known religious school in Bihar Sharif town in the eastern state of Bihar. A large mob razed the school to the ground on March 31st. BBC News reports that the library was burnt to the ground during the Hindu festival of Ram Navami. Rioters were armed with sticks, stones, and petrol bombs and allegedly shouted provocative slogans near the madrasa. The incident was once amongst many that took place in the town That day, several people were injured and some vehicles and shops were attacked. Police have arrested several people in connection with the violence, and the investigation is ongoing. Before we end today's news, may I make a special request? It takes 55 hours of work daily to produce this news for you. It's news with a unique perspective, and you can only find it here. Sound Vision is a non-profit organization which produces it. And just like PBS and NPR, it depends on your donations. Please visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, or click the link below to donate. That's all from our Washington studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel or hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Assalamu alaikum and good night.